Hello, my name is Rahim Kumal and welcome to episode 3 of my critical creative reflection. In this episode, I will be discussing how my production skills have developed and improved throughout the course. Throughout making this opening, the honing and development of my production skills has been a huge part of my journey. Prior to taking the subject, I had enough knowledge in all the basic areas such as filming, editing, and graphic design to get by. I had used CapCut for editing a few times for school projects, as well as Photoshop. But for this course, I would have to learn a lot more about different softwares and techniques I could use. For the first preliminary, that being the 1 minute film opening, it was my first time producing anything at all like a movie, so I faced many setbacks. I had decided to edit using the mobile app for Adobe Premiere and film it using my iPhone 11 Pro. At the time, my idea was a bit ambitious for my skills, so the final product came out a little lackluster. However, nevertheless, through this preliminary, I was able to learn a lot about the process. Filming this preliminary proved to be rather difficult, as getting some of the shots I wanted was very cumbersome, which led to having to crop the shot, which unfortunately made the image quality deteriorate and compress. For the edit, I was using the mobile version of Premiere, which was quite simple to use but also lacked features, which led to the edit being fairly simple, also compromising the quality of the assignment as a whole. Learning from the first preliminary, I decided to switch to using a DSLR as compared to my phone and Premiere Pro on a desktop to edit, as it would solve many of the issues that I faced earlier. Over the course of the next few months, I slowly learned how to use the DSLRs as well as Premiere Pro in preparation for the final project. During the filming of the final project itself, a major issue that I faced in using a DSLR was the problem of stabilization of the shots, which was improved as I learned how to handle a camera, but it still remained shaky, especially when using larger lenses. To combat this issue, I thought to use a gimbal, however, due to the location where I was filming, it was unavailable. This made it so that some of the shots which were taken using some of the larger lenses were left shaky. This would later have to be fixed in post-production. After using the cameras for an extended period of time, I had learned that lighting was a key feature in ensuring that a shot achieved was desirable. So as well as having abundant natural light on set, I used LED lights to ensure visibility. This would help greatly in the color grading process. During filming, I took on the role of a director, which proved to be quite simple largely due to the experience of the actor I had chosen to center my film around, that being Muniza Hashmi, who herself has many years of experience in the field. This made it so that she was very quick to pick up on the directions as well as add suggestions of her own, which would improve the product. The aspect of my production skills which were honed the most during this entire process was inarguably my editing skills. For the final project, I was using Premiere Pro on a desktop, and while the basic skills, such as putting the shots in place, was fairly simple, the more technical aspects proved to be quite challenging to learn. To learn how to use Premiere, I took guidance from my father, who was experienced in editing in the software. Learning from the experience I gained from the 1 minute film opening, I created a shot list so that the entire process would be quicker, and the end product would be more refined. During the actual editing process, I saw that due to the shaky nature, some of the footage was not clearly visible. This proved to be a large problem, and later I would have to apply a warp stabilizer to it in order to improve visibility. However, as I had slowed down some of the footage in order to maintain the slow pace that I had wanted for the opening, the warp stabilizer could not be put on the footage. Instead, I was forced to adapt and incorporate the shakiness into the story. After editing on the software for some time, using Premiere proved to be quite intuitive. However, it was still very time-consuming. Processes such as color grading, which were also done in Premiere, were very cumbersome and difficult to learn, but the many options present in the software allowed for a better final product. For the opening, I had decided to include a voiceover track which I had found on YouTube. However, the voiceover track included some undesirable background music, so in order to remove that, I had to learn how to do so on Final Cut Pro using YouTube videos. I also had to learn basic sound editing in GarageBand and had decided to create my own soundtrack for the film. Creating my own soundtrack also gave me more creative liberty in how the score would pair with each scene, creating a more homogeneous final product. Having to create various designs in Photoshop also improved my graphic design skills, and using Photoshop for these was quite intuitive and simple. Throughout this process, I had to learn how to use many different softwares for different aspects of making a film, as well as how to learn to adapt and overcome the issues I faced along the way. In taking this course, my production skills have developed vastly, not just in different technical aspects, but also in creative aspects such as writing and directing. However, there is still a lot more that I can learn.